My name is Angela and I'm a visually impaired designer.
Hey everybody, how are you doing today? I hope that you're all having a great week and that things are going well for you. I'm excited to share with you today one of my favorite books that I highly recommend to anyone, especially designers. And this book is Mismatched by Kat Holmes. This book is all about inclusive design and has been a crucial piece of my research on better understanding inclusive design. Now, first, I just gotta point out that this is not a sponsored video. I have no affiliation with the book. I just think that it's a very good book and I wanna share it with you guys because of that. Now, as far as the actual book goes, I actually got to meet Kat Holmes when she first came out with the book. She came to the University of Washington while I was in grad school and did a presentation kind of explaining what her book was all about to promote her book. And so I went to that and I got a copy of her book there. I do think that it's a little hard for me to read the size of the font and the font that was chosen in this book. However, this book has pictures in it, and so I'm still glad that I have this book because I can use my magnifier if needed to see the pictures better and kind of follow along with this book. I've now read this book a couple of times, and when I read it, what I found the most helpful was I also purchased the ebook for it, and so as I was listening, I would kind of follow along in the book so that I could see the pictures that correspond with what's being said in the audiobook. I thought that was a great combination. That does make it a little more pricey because then you have to purchase it twice, which for me wasn't a huge deal because this book has been such a vital piece of my research. But I can see how someone might not want to pay for it twice. So just keep in mind whichever method you think is better for you and go for it. I'll make sure to put a link to this book in the description below if you are interested and you want to check it out. I'll put a link for the physical book along with also an ebook link. All right, so who's Kat Holmes? She's the author of the book, but why should we listen to what she has to say? She worked on the Microsoft team who helped create and develop the inclusive design principles that they have for Microsoft. Inclusive design has been a principle that's been around for a while, and she took what was created as the principles of inclusive design from before and has built upon those, and those principles are in her book now. She also now is the lead UX designer at Google, and so she has a lot of interesting things to share when it comes to inclusive design. Before we jump into the details of the book, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you're enjoying it, and subscribe to my channel below and turn on the notification bell so you can receive notifications anytime I post a video about accessibility and or design. All right, let's look closer at this book. So Kat Holmes defines inclusive design as a design methodology that enables and draws on the full range of human diversity. Most importantly, this means including and learning from people with a range of perspectives. So I really think this definition really encapsulates this idea of designing with those who are being excluded instead of for them. So if we have design committees or groups who have a diverse range of experiences and different abilities, races, a full range of everything, then our designs are going to be a lot more inclusive and work for a wider range of people than if everyone on the committee is very similar, they think alike, and if there's not a lot of diversity between the people who are creating something, then there's going to be less of those perspectives. Now, Kat starts out in her book by explaining the principles of inclusive design by talking about a playground. Now, let's think about the playground near your home for a second. If you want to go to the playground and go on the swing, what kind of assumptions are made by the design of the swing? You have to be able to jump into the seat. You have to have the grip or the grasp to be able to hold onto the swing. You have to have a bottom that you can sit on to use the swing. You have to be able to balance yourself and be able to use your body to move back and forth to get you to move, unless you have someone helping you, of course. What kind of material is on the ground could make a difference as to who can access this swing. So if it's wood chips, would someone in a wheelchair or someone who has limited mobility in their legs be able to walk to the swing and be able to access it there? You can only be a limited size to be able to use the swing. You have to be strong enough to keep yourself up. There's just so many assumptions that are made on a traditional swing design. Now, there are people who've created swings that make it so that more people can use the swing. There are swings that are made that have backs on them so that if you don't have the mobility, someone can push you in it more easily and that person can just lean back and enjoy the ride. There's also swings that are made for babies so that they don't fall off the swing. They put their legs in it, and that way children or babies can enjoy a swing as well. And so thinking about these type of things when we're designing and who can use it and what assumptions are being made by a specific design can really help us think and put ourselves in someone else's situation when we're trying to decide what type of things we should consider in our designs. So on a traditional playground, you're not going to see a lot of people with disabilities. Now, that doesn't mean they don't want to be around other children playing and having fun. It just means that it's a mismatch interaction for them. Now, her whole book is about explaining what mismatch interactions are versus our ability to use an existing design the way that it was created. Now, her book really focuses on this idea of a disability not being a personal health problem, but more of it's a mis-human interaction between the design that was created and the person. A key part of her book is she explains the difference between a permanent, a temporary, and a situational mismatch interaction, or people who are being excluded. So for example, someone with a disability that they were born with or they get later in life, it's not possible for them to cure it or get rid of that disability. That would be considered a permanent situation. However, if someone breaks their arm or they're in a wheelchair temporarily because of a surgery or they had an injury, if someone has cataracts for a while and then later on they're able to fix that, if someone's pregnant or their situation changed because they're in a different country or other situations, these would be temporary times when they're being excluded from a design because of something that is happening to them temporary, and it won't always be that, just for the time being. Then there's situational times when people are being excluded from a design. Some examples of a situational exclusion might be when you're on a train or a bus and you can't listen to audio, you're in class, so you can't listen to audio there either. Maybe you're in a movie theater and you can't see very well because it's really dark. Maybe there's poor weather, there's fog or rain or snow that's making it difficult for you to see, or there's ice that makes it hard for you to get around. These would be situational times when you could be excluded from the design just because of the situation you're in. So the 3 inclusive design principles she goes over in her book are: first, we need to recognize when a group of people are being excluded. Second, we need to learn from the diversity. And third, we need to solve for one and extend that to many people. Now, another key thing is that inclusive design does not mean that the design works for everyone. It just means that they're being considered in the design process. Now, I really don't want to give away too much about this book because obviously I think you all should go read it. But one more thing I really want to make sure to point out is I love the chapter where she talks about how there's no normal. Everyone uses designs in different ways. We all have different needs. It's not possible to create a design that works just for everyone. So knowing that there's no normal design that will work for everyone, considering multiple ways that a design can be used so that it's not fixed in one way that everyone has to force themselves to use a design, is going to be a good way of looking at design. Like I said, I think this book is super helpful. I highly, highly recommend that you read it, and I hope this got you excited to check this book out, and I think that you will be able to learn a lot from it. If you have any questions about the book or anything else, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you on those questions. I hope that we can all take the time to learn more about how we can be inclusive of people who are being excluded, and this will really help us to improve the designs to really work for a lot more people. I hope that you all have a fantastic week, and I can't wait to hear what you think about this book. I will see you in my video next week, and I hope that you have a fantastic week. Bye!